Okay, welcome to the NAHEDO podcast. My name is Brian Odor, and of course I'm joined by three professionals.
Timothy Chola,
Margaret Makanyengo,
Reverend Gregory Kilanguli.
And well, it's all about a good conversation today. It's all about occultism and mental health. And I'd like to tell you guys a story first, before we just go straight up into this one. I joined media when I was 20 years old. I made my first million when I was 20.
Wow.
Now, yeah.
So it's a lot of money.
A lot of money. And I was a young man. Of course, as a young man, if you're given 1 million, the first reflex is to run away from your parents so that you can enjoy that money. So that's exactly what I did. So I met a colleague who told me, now you're making all this money. Do you want to make more money? Let me introduce you to a church. A church that really makes sense. A church that now they even pray for your money and your money multiplies. You have to take your money after being paid. You take it in cash, they pray for it and it multiplies. So I go ahead. I go to this church. Something weird about this church. They used to go to church at 6 p.m. on Fridays. And there were no preachings, there were no testimonies, nothing. It was someone just playing a saxophone in the dark. At the end of that, they just give you a small scripture from whatever book they were reading from, and you leave. A few weeks fast forward after that, the church in Runda now started asking for a lot of things. The head of a chicken feet, and it shouldn't have feathers. With the blood bottled, you need to bring it candle and you need to mix it with a bit of your blood. Oh. Now, when it got there, I'd been told about how blood bondages work. I said, no. This one is not for me. So I decided, apana, hii nawacha. So I left. So,
wow, that was good.
Yeah. So this is the first time I'm actually experiencing how occultism works. When I left, my friend gave me a stern warning. Things will go bad for you because you had already engaged this other side of power.
Very scary.
Very scary. Very scary stuff. I was working for Nation Media Group then, which was Easy FM, then changed to Nation FM. I lost my job. Losing my job, now that is when the drugs started. The over happiness of substance abuse was in plenty. Which
kind of substance were you abusing?
I was abusing cocaine. I was abusing a lot of marijuana. Hii ya kawaida tu miraa. It was bad. It was a very bad time in my life. And the recovery part of that part and aspect of my life is what I want us to talk about today, because I never knew that there are a lot of mental issues that can arise as a form of you trying to seek your higher power or higher being. And I think we should start off the difference between occultism and cultism.
I think it is very important to know the difference between the two.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us are not able to tell the difference. Let me begin with cult.
Yeah.
A cult is something that involves a belief. I believe in something that is out of the ordinary. For example, if I came here and taught you guys that I am Jesus of Nazareth, I'm a Jesus wa Songaleni. That is something that is pegged on something that somebody believes in.
Yes.
So it's a belief that is outside of what is expected, either by that community or culture or religion.
Yes.
Okay. And let me say something very interesting about cults. Even what we consider as normal would also be cultic. For example, if I ran a church and I had such following and the commitment to me by my members to the point that they cannot question anything that I do, that now becomes cultic. So a cult doesn't even have to be a false teaching as such.
Yes.
It is something that, a belief based on...
So what Shakahola is actually a cult.
It's a cult.
That is not occultism, that is a cult.
That's a cult. It's something, that's a very typical example, classic example of a cult.
Yes.
based on a belief that because my leader
Yes.
has a messianic kind of level
Yes.
that he is blessed, by the supernatural powers.
Yes.
So we need to hear him. So if he tells us to fast so that we can go to heaven, that for us becomes gospel truth,
Okay.
so to speak.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
It's a you don't question.
Yes.
Occultism is related to cult. Now, occultism has more to do with the methods.
What they
Or the
do,
things.
what they do, the
Yes.
activities they do.
The activities.
So
Groups.
like in my case, it's
Yes.
the blood, whatever
blood.
that they
Yeah,
are.
the
So
blood.
that is the difference.
The games like voodoo or tarot cards, you have heard about those.
Like the saxophone I was talking about.
Yes, yes.
Which are boards.
Yes, Ouija boards.
And what about nowadays? There's a ring. There's a place where you enter, and there's a ceremony whereby when you have just entered, you get yourself a ring, a covenant ring.
Yes.
That I am now attached to this group.
Yes.
And this following. Is that occultism?
That is occultic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Especially
Very young
where
people.
supernatural forces also are involved.
Yes.
They do these activities and relate them to some supernatural
Yeah.
being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So-
I was talking with a friend of mine.
Yeah.
He was in a rehab institution, and he told me he was wearing a ring, and he told me, "Do you think this is bad?" Though we believe this is it was the one that connected him to his gang group, because he was a gang.
He was a gang member.
He was a gang member. So, but he was brought into the rehab institution because his parents saw the behavior and soon he could have been wiped out by police. So
Yes.
he was wearing that as a sign of you're still
A member.
They call themselves wrong.
It's a sign of membership.
And again,
Yes.
I think what people might understand easily, some of the traditional practices, like witchcraft,
Yes.
is another typical example of what we call cultic.
Yeah.
Yes. Use of certain instruments because you believe they have some supernatural elements within them.
Yeah.
That powder that you are given,
Yeah.
the belief, and that's why I say cults and occultism are very close. They work together.
Yes.
So that powder that you are given,
Yeah.
it's an instrument through which one seeks to get the supernatural power, and
Yes.
you want healing and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
Or something that I saw when I was growing up. We were taken to go and be given some water. By some
Very
juju man,
true.
so
Very
that we
true.
are protected
Yeah.
from getting bewitched by our enemies around.
Yes.
And I remember we were given water that tasted like urine.
Wow.
You did not question.
Because you were told about it.
Yes.
You were told it's going
And
to
you
work.
believed.
Yeah. So
believing-
that's what I want us to start off. How do I recover? Yeah, how do I recover? Like for me, it has taken years for me to come and just become the person I am today. Because at some point I became now a con man. I conned all my relatives because I wanted money for this substance. Because now I'm trying to hide the fact that I was in a cult. You're seeing. So what's the first step? How do I recover?
I think we should even go back to how it began.
Yeah.
You were only 20 years
That's
old.
right.
Yes.
You were not prepared. You became suddenly rich.
Yes.
It's really recommended that before people get engaged in activities or businesses where you're going to earn work or earn money, you have to be prepared. What does it involve when working, and how do you use the money, and your lifestyle general, how should you live your lifestyle depends on how you're brought up, or your peers. Maybe if you get into negative peer influence, they'll misinform you on how to.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think you got into this business where you earned a lot of money, but you are not kind of prepared. I think by then you are not prepared.
You see,
So,
these days,
Yeah.
for us, our age grade, I'll talk about from here and to Messi. The first money we get, we buy a car.
Yes.
We never think of having a home.
Yes.
Even if you live in an apartment in Tathia and maybe
Yeah.
further where there's no parking, but
Yes.
You just buy a car.
Yeah.
That's the first thing.
Yes.
Now once you buy a car, that has been your dream. Now you have a rental house with a 65-inch TV. As a man, you have completed your mission in life.
Yeah.
So the rest of the money coming in is money to
the sherehe culture.
sherehe.
And when you get a lot of money, it can be traumatic.
Yeah.
Some people go mad.
Yes.
Some people get crazy.
So,
Some
like-
people are happy.
I'd like to ask you as the professionals, in these situations, of course, spiritually and for the mental health side, and I'll start, of course, with the spiritual side. When I've realized, okay, I was in a cult, I don't want this anymore, what is the first step?
I think the very, very first step, which is critical for recovery, is the recognition that you have a problem. You know, many times when we're trying to help people
Yes.
that are wrestling with mental health issues, a number of them do not have, what we call insight, an understanding of not just the problem, but the acknowledgement that they have a problem. That's the place to begin. I work with young people. You can make all the noise you want, but until that young person comes to terms with the fact that they have a challenge in their lives that they need to deal with, that's the first place to begin.
Acceptance.
But
Yes.
Daktari, there's a problem here, is because when we enter something called occultic, we fear even telling someone about our problem. So first of all, fear is driving us not to acknowledge that we have a problem, because we don't think any physical man can help us come out of
Because
that
you're
problem.
afraid of the
power,
power.
the dark powers in the occultic. Yeah, we fear it more now than anything that out of the normal.
I think I would like to say
Yes.
that is expected. It's not unusual that you would fear that there might be repercussions
Yes.
if you reveal about what you've been going through. And yet that is the beginning point for anybody that wants to recover. Even those that have been addicted to substances, and chemicals,
Yes.
they cannot recover until they come to terms with the fact that they have a problem.
It's true.
There is a story. There is a very interesting story, very popular in Sunday school.
Yes.
The story of the prodigal son.
Yes.
You know, the turning point in that story is when that young man came to himself. Now, Dr. Ria will tell you that has a lot of mental health significance.
Yes.
The awareness mentally that I have a problem. Now,
Yes.
when you become aware you have a problem, that's when you would want to seek for help.
Help.
But also aware that effort to seek for help might not be as easy as one might think. It might bring shame. It might be embarrassing. For example, when I stopped drinking, I used to drink as a young man, and very badly, by the way.
Yeah.
When I stopped,
Even you, Reverend.
yes. When I stopped,
Yeah.
my peers,
Yes.
told me this guy is a coward. Oh, this guy is frustrated. Oh, this guy was dumped by a girl. That's why he has reverted to religion. But the truth of the matter is that I came to a place where I felt if I continued on that path,
Yes.
I was soon going to be dead. And as a matter of fact, a lot of the peers I drank with are dead today.
Wow.
Wow.
Dead. You know, I had tremors. If I held a piece of paper, you could see me shaking. And you know, Dr. will tell you to deal with that shaking, you have to take more. You get me?
Hold on.
Because
Hold
of
on.
tremors, that's
Hold on.
withdrawal
What do you
symptoms.
mean to deal with the shaking? You have to take more.
When you become chemically dependent, physically dependent,
And you're going
for you to survive,
Yes.
to avoid this shaking, you have to make sure that you take more beer.
They normally drink so that it reduces the
This
shaking.
generation of Mbogi Genje, they call it kutoa lock. Yes, they call it kutoa lock.
Yeah.
And just to ask another question, just before we move forward.
Okay.
Now, when we come back to occultism and cultism, they always, I see in so many instances, they always come to roll out to have a substance involved. Someone comes in, meets it through alcohol, or after the stage they go to alcohol or a drug to sustain whatever is going on in their mind. Is it normal to have such things?
During occultism?
Yes.
Yeah, it is very possible. Don't know what your experience.
And let me explain something which might be technical.
Yes.
You see, a lot of, like you said, you get a lot of money.
Yes.
You want to buy a car.
Yes.
You want to buy a good apartment.
Yes.
You want to feel you're somebody. What is involved there? What is involved there is a basic assumption about what gives you satisfaction.
Oh, it's all about the happiness.
It's not about the happiness.
Yeah.
It's a wrong assumption about the path to real happiness. And can I tell you, that's where deception comes in.
Yeah.
And by the way, deception is always at the foundation of any cultic or occultic behavior. You are deceived to think that if you go to that juju man, he is going to make it possible for you to become very rich. And by the way, those juju men are usually very poor.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're usually very poor.
Extremely.
So you think if you visit that juju man, he's going to give you powers. So what are you getting yourself into? You are getting yourself into a false belief that my esteem and my worth and the value is based on how much money I have, what car I drive, or which home I live in. And that is deception. Because none of those things
give you
are needed for our worth.
Yeah.
Why do I say that? Because each one of us is born complete. Complete. I was born, I came into this world as a full human being. And so the understanding of what it means to be human is crucial for people to experience release from some of these wrong beliefs. Okay?
Yes.
I have to accept myself. For example, I told you that I drank.
Yes.
I had to get to a point that I do not have to please so and so for me to feel that I am a man. Because I discovered that was deception.
The self-realization.
I am a man.
Yeah.
Whether I please you, I don't please you.
Yeah.
You're still a man.
I am worthwhile. Whether I have money or I don't have money.
So what you're saying, Reverend, is self-awareness.
Self-awareness,
You need to appreciate yourself, know who you are, and appreciate who you are. Yeah, so that you don't need to be deceived that you have to go get this big car to feel like who, or you have to go and see some juju people for whatever.
Do you know, Doc, it's actually quite amazing because I am in that stage right now. I am in the stage of losing friends. Right now as we speak, I am in that stage. There are people when they call me and tell me, Kuja bana tuko hapa Langata, and I tell them, is it a bar? They say yes. I say I'm not coming. They don't call me for another month. I'm in that mental stage right now. So I don't know whether to choose this type of friends, that type of friends. And you see, as a young man, it is a mental space that is very scary, especially when you have young kids like I have. I have a young family. So now the confusion comes. I've already recovered from the occultism phase. Now I'm in the drug phase. I already recovered from it. Now I am in the mental space where I'm lost. Because also as a man you cannot have friends. Because you need to go and hide with men sometimes and ask them some very hard questions. So the friends that I've had for years, 10, 15 years, do not want my company because I'm not doing exactly what they do. Because I've decided to change my own path. Now for a person who's watching us right now, how do they deal with such a situation? As I'm getting the help, and I want us also to help. Yeah? Because I sit on Saturdays. I was used to watching football with 10, 20 guys. It was always loud. Now I watch football with my 5-year-old son. Yes, it's exciting because it's my son, but it does not have the adrenaline the way.
Love it, man.
You know, during recovery or rehabilitation, when you're being helped to recover, you are empowered to make choices. You are empowered to make, to focus on your future plans. You are empowered to set goals. And in these goals, it is step by step. And during recovery, you are also, your family or friends or the people closest to you are also empowered to support you. So when you come out of the recovery phase, by the way, you will say you've fully recovered. Actually, recovery is a process.
So I'm not recovered. I'm still in the process.
You are still in the process.
Yes.
It's a journey,
Yeah.
and you need support. You need support of your loved ones, your family, your brothers, and also God. Because right now, scientists have shown that you need holistic care to support you. That's not just the medical, the psychological, but the spiritual. People who are spiritual, research has shown that people who are spiritual actually recover quickly from mental conditions, recover quickly from addiction, and that's scientific. In fact, medical universities are teaching that.
Yes.
So you need to arm yourself with all this support,
Yes.
And it is a step by step,
Yes.
so that by the time somebody says, no, I don't want to interact with you anymore, it won't bother you, because you'll probably have another friend who is more positive, who will be more supportive.
Exactly.
So
a good example is when I was in being rehabilitated.
Yes.
The psycho addiction
Yes.
therapist asked me for the first time we met, what's your vision? And I got confused. Why is she asking about my vision or my goal of life?
Yeah.
And yet, first of all, I came there when all the things that I had planned for in my life came down. So that was not a good question. It made me to rethink again. Then I met Dr. Lamada, who also told me, what is your vision? What is your vision?
Yes.
He looked at the SWOT analysis, and then you went to the Bible.
Yes.
And I wondered, why all this?
Yeah.
Why do we first start with that goal? But is it to make
Vision.
to have focus?
To give you a sense of purpose. You know, when you have a sense of purpose and confidence in yourself and a focus in life, then you focus on that. And you interact with people who will take you to that level, to that goal that you want to achieve. And it's automatic, it's psychological, it's spiritual, it's social as well.
Yeah.
So that, you know, that's why you find for every individual and every corporate entity, they are advised to do vision, to have a strategic plan.
Yes.
A vision, mission, goal. You need to have your strategic plan.
And also your purpose needs to be realistic.
That's it.
Yeah. Because you can't give yourself a purpose like, I want to be the president of Kenya in 2027.
So Brian, you don't need to worry about these people who don't want to interact with you. It's good riddance, really. I don't want to use the word bad rubbish, because I think they also need help, and there are souls who need to support
if you see the Kenyan we are living in today,
Yeah.
A man like me in my mid-30s, a man like Ntemesi, the visual pressures are extremely high, putting us in mental states that don't make sense. I'll talk for myself. I was those boys who drove Subarus, Mercedes back in the day. Now I don't have it. Yeah? But now my peers are driving these V8 cars. They're living in Karen. Imagine, in their mid-30s.
The celebrity culture, the social media.
And for me to even get into this ball or bubble with them, I have to sit with them to make that kind of money.
Let me tell you, Brian, I've been working as a psychiatrist for many years. A lot of these people in these celebrity houses with those V8s are really depressed. Some of them are suicidal. A lot of them are patients. They are not happy. So this kind of lifestyle does not guarantee your happiness.
Yes.
Yeah. So
let me add something, Brian. And this might be very interesting to our listeners.
Yes. Yes.
I became a church deacon in my church.
Yes.
At a very early age. And then I was the only deacon member who never had a car. Okay?
That's also pressure.
You are in a church.
Yes.
You know, that is for who is who.
Yeah.
In Kenya.
Yes.
And the members have elected you into the leadership. And you do not have a car.
Yes.
You know, members came and asked me, how did you become a deacon How do you manage to operate there as a deacon and yet you do not have a car? I told them, service does not require for you to have an object called a car. That's why I talked about basic assumptions, about what you believe about life.
Yes.
And can I tell you, I was very happy. I was very satisfied. As a deacon member without a car. Now, let me illustrate. Sometimes our meetings used to go up to 3 a.m.
In the morning.
In the morning.
How do you get home then?
Do you know I used to walk from my church to where I used to live, a distance of close to 2 kilometers.
It was good
And
exercises. Exercises.
And none of those deacon members
Yeah.
used to give me a lift. In fact, one deacon member used to drive past the entrance to the gate of where I used to live. Now, what is it that made me to be able to move on? Because I believed I was in this thing called specifically to serve no matter what.
Yeah.
Number 2, because I accepted myself, and thank God at the appropriate time I bought a car. Even when I bought a car, people had a problem because I bought a very old car. And they asked me, brother, you are our leader, we have a lot of money, why are you driving a very old car? And I told them, excuse me, this car serves me well.
Yeah.
If I want to go to work, it takes me.
It does its job.
It does its job.
So it's about perceptions.
Yeah.
And to apply it to mental health. A lot of people have serious mental health issues because of false beliefs.
Yeah.
And a false assumption.
Yes.
And
now, you talked about not having friends or losing friends.
Yes.
It is also important for you to look for friends who share with you same aspirations, interests, and so forth and so on. And sometimes in my counseling work, I have even encouraged people to go out. For example, if you have a sport that you love so much,
Yes.
and you may not know how to play that sport,
Yeah.
go and join a club and start playing that sport. In fact, one is a medical doctor who had issues.
Yes.
And I said, have you ever tried golf? Have you ever tried swimming? And I can tell you, this doctor is a very good golfer today. And that way, they were able to find people with whom they could share interests.
Yes.
Those are crucial issues in mental health.
Yes.
Yes.
Because again, it is counterproductive for you to keep alone. We were not created to stay
To be
alone.
loners.
No wonder in the Holy Book it says, and God said, it is not good for a man to be alone.
Yes.
You know, that does not only speak about marriage.
Yes.
It speaks about life in general.
Yes.
And that's why psychologists like Abraham Maslow,
Yes.
one of the basic human needs was the need to socialize, to belong to a society or to a family.
Yes.
So, when somebody is recovered or they have come from something that was, leading them to destruction, it doesn't mean that when you stop, the only friends you can have are the ones you used to hang out with to do those things.
Yes.
You can always find positive, supportive, loving, and caring friends.
And Doctor, is it true that people who relapse are because of you feel not accepted by the community that actually took you to the rehab?
There are different factors that people relapse. Accessibility, accessing the substance, availability of the substance, as well as the peer pressure, the family and the availability is one factor.
Yeah.
It could be in the environment, it could be in you, like maybe you went through therapy, but you're still undecided, you are still not...
what if you have
resilience.
decided, but again, I'm coming to the point of acceptance and belonging that Reverend Kimanguli has talked about. And this you go to your family, back in your family, and people are suspicious of you.
We usually encourage the family on how to support and how to support this client, because if anything you do, you just walk into a room, you're going to drink.
Yes.
And you just go out, you're talking to your drinking friends.
Yes.
That is very negative. The family and friends have to be supportive and give a benefit of doubt and trust you.
Stigma and discrimination is a reality when it comes to matters mental health.
True.
Just like the way whenever somebody was diagnosed as HIV positive,
yes,
what finished a lot of those people was not the disease itself. It was stigma and discrimination.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Brian? You mean he's carrying that mududu?
Yeah.
Now, part of our work is to do vigorous, massive education, creating awareness that a disease, including a mental illness, does not really define you as a person.
Yes.
And that mental illness is a disease like any other
disease,
like cancer,
like
malaria, like flu. The problem is that we subscribe to beliefs and the myths about mental illness, like where I come from, that if you broke down mentally, one of the things they believed was happening to you is that you were being initiated into the traditional healing stream. Have you heard something like that?
Yes, I have.
And therefore you are very likely to become a traditional healer, but it comes through a breakdown. Those were myths. So part of our work today, and we are doing a lot of that, is to educate people that mental illness, mental health issues are issues of health just like any other healthy problem.
And
by the way, every one of us,
I wanted to add
every one of us is a subject
of mental health.
Mental health
issues, challenges. For example, you lose a business, you get distressed, you get depressed. That's a mental health challenge. But it doesn't mean that you have to be in Madare. It doesn't mean that you have to go collecting papers and put them in your pocket. Doesn't mean. And even if you collected papers and put them in your pocket, you are still a human being.
True.
That we need to take care of you. We need to support you. And that's why I want to support Daktari. This is where we bring in the family. About the need to accept their loved ones. And support them even when they are doing things that are odd and out of the normal or what is expected in that particular culture or society.
I would like to add, as 30 years of working as a psychiatrist, I've never seen somebody who's 100% normal. Even ourselves. I've never seen 100% normal person.
No.
So it's just the degree, and it depends on the stress, but mental health disorders are common among us. Anybody can break down. So we have to be our brother's keeper. Let's take care of ourselves, take care of our loved ones. Good can also happen to us.
Well, that was a lovely conversation, and of course you can get us on the NAHEDO website. We're going to be talking about these episodes. Every week you're going to be getting an episode, and thank you for coming, Reverend Kivangule, and you're always going to be here. Doc, we are going to do this for a very long time, and if you're experiencing anything mental health related, I said it correctly, mental health related and spiritual, feel free. There's a comment section you can get on our website. That's at nahedo.org. At nahedo.org. You can get us on the website, and someone will be there to create the help for you, and also you can get qualified help from our psychiatrist and psychologist at nahedo.org. Thank you.
Thank you.